comes annually from Willis and Jurasek, CPAs and consultants. And back with us again to start off our Tax Talk series, CPA Ryan Parshall. Hi, Ryan.
Bart, how are you?
I'm good. Good to see you.
You too. Again.
Yes, again, Ryan and I have been communicating as Ryan is JTV's CPA, and we appreciate the great work you do for us.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah. Every year you find some nice surprises for us. Thanks.
We try. I don't know if it's luck or what, but luck's better than sometimes better than to be good.
Yeah. Keep them coming.
That's right. Try.
All right, so this is the time of year people are starting to see things come in the mail. Their 1099s and tax forms. Right off the start, though, are there some things in terms of tax laws that people need to be aware of and looking out for?
From a tax law perspective, at the federal level, what's really going to be happening is after this 2025 year, everything is slated to go back to the prior tax laws pre-first Trump administration. So this was under the Obamacare or Obama Act at that point. And when Trump came in the first time, they were sweeping tax changes and huge. And right now, a lot of those are set to be reverted back. So in my mind, that's going to be at the forefront in Congress right now, is to get something figured out with that. But really what we need to be thinking about is next year. As individual taxpayers, some of the stuff had went away and it may be coming back. Good, bad, and different, however you look at it. It's just something to be thinking about next year. I could go into details, but I think I'm only on here 10-15 minutes. So
yeah, when you say something like that act that we had, it's a 5-year act.
Yeah.
It's part of the title is Tax Jobs and Tax Cuts Act. So when you hear tax cuts are going to expire, is there going to be some sticker shock, do you think, next year?
It depends on who you are. I've seen it both ways. I've seen some people where it worked out better for them, some it did not. So what it really comes down to is starting now having that conversation with your CPAs to see how that's really going to affect you next year and where things are going to kind of shift out for you come the 2026 filing season.
All right, so then that's the federal issue. Statewide, it sounds like right now there's a logjam and a mess in Lansing. There are bills that the Democrats want the Republicans to advance to the governor to sign, and they're in limbo for the time being. And then there's action the Supreme Court's taken that the legislature is also going to take action on in terms of wage increases, paid leave, sick time.
Yes.
It's all up in the air.
Yeah. The paid sick leave is the big one right now. That's coming right down the wire here. February 21st is when that goes into effect. And really what this did is when Michigan stepped in and said, okay, everyone now is entitled to earn sick time. If you are an employer in the state of Michigan and you have at least one employee, it at least got you thinking about your paid time off policies. Mm-hmm. So that's the big thing right now. Really what the state has said is that you need to give everyone, if you're between 1 and 10 employees, 40 hours of paid time off, and then another 32 hours of potential other time off not paid. Now, if you're over 10 employees, all 72 hours need to be paid. So what this did is, you have a lot of companies out there with, let's just say 12 employees, right? Mm-hmm. They weren't giving them much sick time or paid time off. Well, now overnight that changed. You basically get 2 weeks. Now that is on an accrual basis. For every 30 hours you work, you earn 1 hour, but still, every person with one employee needs to be thinking about their paid time off policies.
Is the effect drastic enough where an employer with 11 employees might say, you know what, I better get down to 9 because I don't want to be subject to this coverage?
I don't think from a financial standpoint, the impact is going to be life-changing. Mm-hmm. What it does, though, is the administrative burden behind it You got to keep track of this. For every 30 hours someone works, they earn an hour of earned sick time off. And not only that, the most you have to pay in a year is 40 hours. You have the other 32. All that rolls over if people aren't using that time. So it's the administrative side of that that's really going to be, a pain. And then you're absolutely right. So yeah, getting from 11 down to 9, well, potentially, because now you have, you had 11 employees that you had to pay 72 hours of time off. You drop down to 2 less employees, well, then you're only having to pay the 40 out at max. So it's a big deal, and it's coming right up. I think that this is more of a HR function, but us as accountants, we take on the burden of all of it and find it our duty to at least let our clients know what's going on here and to be thinking about these things.
The phrase sick time, can an employer say, well, we already give X number of days or weeks for vacation time? That can't be lumped in together with sick time.
So how it's written right now, actually, if you call everything paid time off,
Okay.
you can lump it all together and it would count. So if an employee happens to say, well, I'm going to use sick time, which is really now paid time off, that would count. So really that's the thing, is looking at that verbiage. We've found a lot of clients are saying, well, now I don't, before they would have sick time, vacation time, well, now you maybe want to think about that verbiage. Because if you only gave out vacation before and that was in your policy, well, now all of a sudden they get 72 hours of sick time as well. So calling it paid time off, lumping it all together supposedly is going to be fine. And I think that's the way most people are probably going to go.
Yeah, I think we're going to just become used to that phrase PTO going forward. All right, so it's just January, so do we have to worry about any deadlines right now in terms of filing?
The big one is next week, 1099s. 1099s are more of I'll call that an administrative burden as well. Just making sure all your vendors are, you've accounted for them, the ones that provide services, properly 1099ing them for the amounts you've paid them. Some of the other categories that go into that is like rents and interest that you may have paid on any loans to some of these individuals. That's the big one coming up right now. And I always look at tax season as I have this deadline, I have this deadline, I have this deadline. The next one will be, if you're still subject to it here in the state of Michigan, your personal property tax returns. Those are going to be due end of February. A lot of the business returns will be due mid-March, and then of course everyone's personal returns, which about everyone knows is April 15th. So those are the big ones. W-2s and all that, that's at the end of this month as well, so January 31st.
That's for employers to get those forms to those they've paid.
Yeah.
Do you see 1099s? You say it's archaic, and I agree with you. A lot of it we get as a business 1099s from people we've paid money to, and it just goes in the trash basically.
Yeah. Well, what it does is it puts the IRS on notice that you've paid someone. So the concept behind that is that, they don't want individuals that you may have paid cash to or something else not reporting that income on their personal return. So they put it back on us as taxpayers to kind of let them know that, hey, I've paid them what should be taxable income to them. So then at least the IRS is on notice that they received some income.
And as a recipient of 1099, what it's telling you is, we told the IRS we paid you. You better tell them to.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've seen some comments in Washington that we're going to get more IRS people, we're going to get less IRS people. Do you see any big shifts in enforcement and compliance and just management of the IRS?
Well, they have brought more on. So to me, it's a good thing at some level. I think, to do the right thing, there needs to be more audits out there, myself. And the service has drastically gotten better since the COVID time. I mean, with COVID, you'd try to get a hold of the IRS just for a simple question that could be answered on the fly. Forget about it. So the service has improved greatly, which being in this profession, we appreciate, you know. But yeah, I think it's a good thing. They are hiring more, but hopefully their focus is in the right spots.
All right, if anyone needs help with their company or their personal taxes, there are folks at Willis and Jurasek that would be glad to hear from you. Thanks for coming in today.
Yeah, thanks, Bart. I appreciate it.
You bet. With Tax Talk from Willis and Jurasek CPAs and Consultants, CPA Ryan Parshall.